Hey there, good morning. So, today we are going to talk about typecasting operators, string, math, Boolean, condition, and loops. Yeah, so seeing the time constraint directly, like we will directly jump into typecasting now. So, for this like tutoring session, I won't be like going directly into my coding environment and showing you, but I will be showing you over here like the online version, and we will play around over here. Okay, so it's similar to the one that I used to do earlier. Yeah, let's do it. So sorry. Yeah, so for typecasting, mm, you see there are two types of casting over here, like the widening cast and the narrowing cast. Okay, so for example, like byte is of like uh, byte is the value of byte is, let's go over here. Yeah, so over here like it has been displayed like the byte and its value. Okay, so byte is 1 byte, short is 2 bytes, and etc. So as you can see, if I want to typecast from byte to short, then it can happen automatically. We don't need to explicitly mention anything. Okay, but for the vice versa or the another case, opposite case, you will have to mention something so that the data is not lost. So first of all, like, why do we need to typecast anything, right? So let's consider the case where, like, if you are getting inputs from the client as uh like integer, right? For example, 1 2 3. Yeah, so let's make something over here. Int client data is equal to 1. Okay, so let's consider that we are getting this from the client, and if we want to print this, then you know how to print that. For just like, what is the type of the output? You see, one got printed, so this is in int format, but our application supports only float or double. Then there should be a way to convert this into double or float, right? So let's uh, check it. For example, if I mention float is equal to client data float processed client data, so something happened over here. You see, this dot zero has been like added, so we didn't have to mention anything explicitly to do this conversion. Okay, so yeah, I mean, like, but let's consider, so this was the case of widening cast typecast. Okay, but let's consider the opposite case. So what do you think? Will there be error if you do the opposite thing? Just think, and yeah, think to yourself. So let's make it to float 2.0, and if you want to make it to int, then I'm gonna like comment this. Okay, so This is the narrowing typecasting. So what do you think? Will there be error now or not? Yeah, so see, there was some data lost, possible lossy conversion, so this is not a good type. Okay, so for that thing what you have to mention is a int over here. Still there is some loss, so is there a way to do this? Integer node. Yeah, so there is some error. Mm, 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 mm. I think that should have been done. For example, if I make it 2.7 and I wanna make it to int process data. Okay, so what we can do, instead of using int, what we will do, we will use a float here and double. Okay, so it has been like converted to float directly. So let's see an example what they have like taught. They are using like my double and integer. So yeah, okay. Let's try that. So what do you think? What should happen over here? The dot and I mean the dot 0.78 should be removed. Let's check. Yeah, so I'm wondering why it didn't like happen for the float thing. Yeah, so I will get back to you on that. So you see, uh, like the data conversion is possible, right? And apart from this, uh, we can do some data conversion or type conversion also. So for example, this is my int number, for example 1, and system dot out dot print ln string dot value of, if I print something, I mean this is my int number, and if I'm trying to print it as a string, then let's see if we can do that or not. Okay, so it got printed, but we still don't know if it has been printed as a string or not. So what we can do to know its type, so there is a method in Java you see dot get class dot get simple name. So we have to use that to know if what we are doing is convert it to string or not. Okay, so what we can do, dot get class, I hope it works, or maybe we will have to put another bracket over here, and that's how. No, it works. So see, this has been converted to string. But if this is the thing, and if I convert it to int, I will keep it like this, and I will string and integer dot value of, not int number but string number, string number dot get class dot get simple name. And first of all, I don't want to like get to know, I want to convert it first. So let's run it. So you see, oh, hang on, my mistake. Yeah, so this one has been like printed over here, but we don't know like what is the type. So we will run the data type if we are getting integer back or not. So we got the integer back. So this doesn't happen to each and every one. For example, if I write 1 over here and if I do that thing, so we will get an exception because this is not a number. I mean like this is a string inside actual string, but if we put like a number inside then run, then yeah, it will work. So yeah, so this is one of the like typecasting thing, right? So going to the next topic is operators. I mean, yeah, so these operators, as everyone know, like this is the plus sign, this is the minus sign for subtraction, star is used for multiplication in like coding languages, this is the division, and this is the modulus, right? Modulus, to it is used to get the like remainder and everything as it is mentioned over here, and this is the increment and this is the decrement. So let's see these two, because this is not that usual, like not usual in our like life. So let's try to use these two. I'm gonna remove everything now, okay, but just gonna keep this my int 9, and if we print that, my int, then yeah, we got that. But if we print something like this, like adding the increment operators, then also it got printed. Why? Because the addition is like it is performing at the later stage than before printing. Okay, so in order to increment it first and then getting the higher value, you have to mention it over in the start. So I hope it will print 10 now. Yeah, so same goes with the like decrement operator as well, right? I mean, yeah, so there are like different types of operators over here, like the one that we saw are the arithmetic operators, right? uh, Now next one is the next type of operator is the assignment, in which like you can assign a value to the variable, and yeah, so this is like quite common. And if we want to like increment anything by 3, what we usually do is like x plus 3 and assign it to the x. But the short version of that, or the shorthand version, is this plus equal to, so that it is incremented and assigned to x automatically. Okay, so if you mention any operator before the equal to sign, then it works as similar to that. So but you need little practice over that in order to work. Okay, and do you know the comparison operator? So before going to comparison, there is this left shift and right shift operators. So what it does is like, we can see example of that. For example 9, if I say instead of 9, what we will do, we will do take 1 only. Okay, I don't want to confuse you. So we will say my int right shift by 1, or not right shift, left shift by 1. Okay, so what happened over here is, if you want to represent this value in a binary format like 0 and 1s, how you will do that? Like, this is the integer format, but the binary format of is what, I mean, of course it is 0 1 only, because the value is 1. We can take as 2, so it will be 1 0, right? And if we perform this operation by 1, so what it will do, 1 will go on the left side, and so there will be 3 digits over there, so it will be like this. So initially 1 was over here in the middle, but it got shifted to the left, and that's why we have 3 digits now. So let's see like what is printed. So what is the value of this? This is 7, right? No, this is 4. I'm my bad. So this is binary format, like binary to integer, from binary to decimal to binary. Enter 4. Decimal to binary 4. See, this is the 4, and so this was 2 first. Okay, it was like this, but when we shifted it to left, so there was this 0 added to the extra, or what we can say, 1 got shifted to the left, because initially it's like this. I just want to confirm it, that's why I'm like reiterating the point. So before shifting it was like this, so it doesn't matter how many zeros you write in front in before 1. Okay, so if you shift it to the left, then 1 will come over here, and yeah, it will be like this, so we will get 4. So same goes with the right shift also, like right shift operator. Yeah, I mean, these operators are used in like if you want to do, if you want to play with like numbers on the binary format. Okay, if you want to do something like fast operations or something, then yeah, these are used in that way. Yeah, so the next type of operator is what, like logical operator, right? Like true and false, logical or not, and all of that. So I hope that you guys have seen this. uh, somewhere in like a school or something, because if you're, let's try that. uh, System, if I want to say and one. uh I don't know what's happening. Okay, hang on, let me check. I guess we should be able to use that, but let's try it over here. Yeah, I mean, like, if x over here, for example, it's 5 is greater than 3, yes, true. And true, logical, and true. So true and true, if you follow the truth table for logical and so logical and true, 1 and 1 is 1, right? And we will keep this value, I mean, like, the first value as true and the next value as false. So we will flip this. So let's see if we will get false over here or not. Yeah, so we got it false. So uh, we will have to, like, make sure you recall this, okay, so that you know what's going on over here, like the truth table. um, yeah, you will have to, like, I mean, practice it a little bit. Okay, so we learn typecasting operators, and let's, I think we talked about string, right, like earlier in earlier lectures. For example, if you want to concatenate it, and then we can do it. For example, concatenate means, like, joining two strings. This is one of the string and this is other string. It says second. Good morning. Okay. And concatenate, like, how can you do? There are various ways to do it, but if you do like this, second, so it got, like, added to the like, it is like behind the first one, so it's called concatenation. Yeah, and there are various methods over it. For example, if you want to, like, find the length of the string, then you have to use dot length over here. For dot length, it will tell us 5. So there are more methods, like, if you're talking about string, right, like, we have to either make it like uppercase, lowercase, yeah. So, and if you want to find any specific character at in the string, then we have to use this dot index method, so that we will know not only character, but if you want to, like, find specific, I mean, array of characters, or I should say string, then you can use this method. So this is for, like, finding something in a string. And what if it doesn't find anything? For example, it is trying to find locate in this thing, in this string, it returns 7. But if I don't have any, like, if I'm giving it random thing, then it will return us what? -1 or 0. Yeah, it returned us -1. So what -1 means is, like, we didn't got any result as like as expected. So this is kind of like like a false value. Okay, so yeah, I mean, like, there are many more methods on this, but for now it's okay. Let's talk about number and string. So as I mentioned this earlier, right, like, in typecasting, if there is a 10 over here as a string, then you can typecast it to like integer or that thing, and opposite possible. But if you do it by keeping a string inside, like the array of characters, then it won't be possible to convert it to integer. That is like it gives us number format exception, right? uh, Special characters, yeah, I mean, this is like a escape character. Okay, so let's talk about this. What is escape characters called? So instead of going over here, hello chai, how how is your morning? Okay, so instead of how is, we can also do, I think this is possible, but but I want to include something like, I want to like emphasize on the name. Okay, so tell me, if I do like this, then will it be okay, or it will give us an error? It gives an error, right? So this is not possible, because what string text is considering that this is a text from here to here. That's it. So there is not proper ending over here, for example, like this. And that's why it is telling us to like, it is telling us that there is semicolon error. So how to handle this? So you should either mention this. Okay, let's try the first one only and run it. Oh, my bad. Yeah, so not these actually. So these are the forward slash, right? Yeah, so the one that I was using was the forward slash, but we have to use the backslash. I get confused between these two, like which one is what. So it's okay if you are to, no problem. Yeah, so we did add emphasize on chai by including the escape characters, which is the backslash. Okay. uh, so apart from backslash, there are many more types. Like, if you want to include like new line in your code, in your sentence, so these are all their types, like tab, backspace and everything. uh, yeah, so it seems easy. It is not that difficult. So let's go to math, Java math now. Okay, this is um, let me change like okay, if you if you want to do any like mathematics operation, for example, if you want to find like which is the greater from these two numbers, right? Which number is greater? So what you can do, instead of this, what is there any other way? So if we like use any condition, right, like if 5 is greater than 10, then do something, else do something. Okay, but instead of doing this, we can directly use this to find that particular number. So over here you can see the 10 is the greatest. So it doesn't matter where you write 10, it's gonna tell us the greatest number. Same goes with minimum number as well. And so sqrt is the square root of 64. So it told us like 8.0 it gave us in float. Why did it give us in float? Because instead of giving the perfect square, if we mention something like 63, so you understood my point, right? It gave us the exact answer. So this is a good thing. Yeah, abs is the absolute value. So right, like if there is a negative sign, then it will eradicate that negative sign. It will give us 4.7. Yeah. And there is this method called random, which gives us number between 0.0 and 1.0. So if you are like playing with, like if you are in a game and there is this requirement that you should generate a random number or something, then it's not about like just game, but everywhere or anywhere in your code that you, if you need any random number, then you can use this. But what if there is a range, like custom range apart from this, then of course there is a way, right? So I mean, you have to do some calculations, and that is how you get some 0 to 100. So yeah. So talking about the next topic, which is Java Boolean, like true and false, 1 0. I mean, it's quite simple, right? Like it's quite visible over here. So I'm trying to find, like, is there anything difficult that I want to let you know? Yeah, this comparison we did earlier over here in operators, we saw that if this is equal to 10, it will return true because it is true. mm, I mean, it's quite simple, so I don't think like we should spend too much time over here. Java if else, so these are the conditions. Less than, I mean, we have to use this in like if condition, then this is the actual condition over here. Yeah, so there are like 4 types. We can just use if, and along with that we can use else also. But if there are like more than conditions, like more than 2 conditions, then we can use else if in the middle. And if there are so many conditions, uh, I mean, there are many alternative blocks as it's mentioned over here, then we can use switch. Okay, but I don't use switch that much. uh, I mean, I think we already went over all of these like conditions when we were in the previous lectures, so I'm not gonna. Let's see what is the shorthand. Okay, so this is a different type of writing if and else conditions. So the traditional way of writing if and else is something like this. Okay, and if you wanna like reduce the code and write it in single line, then what we can do, we can write something like this. See. Okay, what we will do, we will keep boolean result. So we will execute this condition if time is less than 18. Then Okay, instead of writing boolean, I'm gonna make it string. And let's remove this. And print the result explicitly below. Okay, so before running the code, let me explain it to you. As you know, this is the string, and anything before equal to is the like assigning value, but which value is being assigned to the result. So let's come over here. Okay, so this is the condition as mentioned over here. If this is true, then right next to a question mark will be assigned to result, or this will be assigned to the result. So let's print if we are getting correct thing or not. Yes. So I mean, if there is if else condition, then I prefer to use this type of syntax. So this is like another type of syntax, or called as shorthand. Okay, also called as ternary operator. Why ternary? Because you see there is this one operator, 2 and 3. So there are 3 operators being used over here. That's why it's called ternary operator. Okay, and like going to the next topic, which is switch. Yeah, I mean, if there are like too many cases, then you can use uh, switch statements. Okay, uh, I can explain you, but what I want you to do is uh, pick any topic. Okay, and I mean, you should write a code on this. So this is a homework for you guys now, like both of you. So you will know like what is the syntax and how you should write, and there is a break involved over here. Otherwise, if break is not involved, then it will go on forever. So you should mention a break over here. Okay, there is a switch, there is this condition expression, and if the expression is like matching with the case, then in that case will be executed and it will be break from that condition. And if nothing is satisfied, then the default case is over here. Okay, I want you to write some code on this. Yeah, take anything, like there is a weekdays over here, like days. So don't copy just this, put some your like thinking and implementation, so that you will know like what is going on. Okay, next is the while loop. Okay, so there are 2 types of while loops. Okay, first is the do while loop, and next is the while loop. I mean, just while loop, and the next one is do while loop. Okay, so it's also like similar to the for loop. Okay, before going to while loop, let's just go to for loop first. You know, this is the syntax for loop, right? Like you have to mention an integer and start condition, end condition, and you have to increment like by how much. So over here it's like incrementing by 1 value, but if you want to increment it by 2, then instead of this you should do like this, like equal to 2. Okay, so instead of printing it 1 2 3 4 0 1 2 3 4, it will print only 3 values, 0 1 0 2 4. So it is not applicable to 2, it is applicable to 3. I mean, this is completely based on your requirement, like what you wanna do. So if you are like writing for loop inside another for loop, then that is called a nested loop. So this is not applicable just only for the for loop, but also for like while loop and everything, I mean other loops. So yeah, I mean you can do this, but like this is not like the optimized way of writing, unless it's like too urgent, or I mean like there is no other option, then you have to avoid this like nested loops. Okay, for each loop is another variation of for loop. Okay, um, if there is this string, okay, and you can write these with like your normal traditional for loop, but there is this other way. So the car over here is the collection of or the array of strings. Okay, and you mention that over here, and the temporary variable over here. So I is the temporary variable, car is the array of strings, and this is the data type of the single string. Okay, and if you type there, I mean if you print that, then you will get Volvo, BMW, Ford and Mazda. Okay, so this is another variation of for loop. So now going to while loop. uh, so in here you just mention a condition, and the inside thing will be getting executed. But yeah, for example, this is the condition over here. For example, I is less than 5, then you should mention, you cannot mention I directly over here. Like you cannot do like this, like int I and something like this. So this is not allowed. That's why you have to explicitly mention the variable over here, like outside the for while loop, and you have to increment that. So you saw the one that we saw in for loop is like we mentioned something like the start condition, the end condition, and the increment value. So this is the other syntax of for loop, while loop, and there is this another while loop called as do while loop over here. So the difference between while loop and do while loop is just one thing. Whatever you mention in the do while loop will be executed once at least, and the condition is below. Okay, so both of them are like similar, but the condition is in the back in do while loop, and the whatever is mentioned in the do loop or do statement will be executed once in the lifetime. Okay, so when we are talking about the break and continue over here, right? So if you want to explicitly terminate the execution of that for loop, I mean like if you want to come out of the for loop, then you have to mention break. Okay, then whatever the next cycle of execution, for example, it's running from 0 to 10. Okay, and if you want to stop at 4, or you want to come out of the execution of that 4 when the 4 is being executed, then you have to mention break over here. Okay, and if you want to skip any loop or any cycle, then you should mention this continue. Okay, then what I want to give, so homework for the week is switch cases, while and while loop, do while loop. Okay, oh yeah, break and continue, break and continue. Break and continue. I can explain more of these, but I want you guys to explore it and come up with something. Don't just copy code from anywhere or get it from some chat GPT or anything. because I will ask you questions and you should be able to answer it then. Okay. So Java arrays. Uh, I don't think like I'm gonna go to Java arrays now. Yeah, I think that's it for a week. So we did learn typecasting, operator string, boolean condition, and loops. Okay. I want you to go through this homework. You can either like write it in single method or write separate method for each and every one of those, but if you write it in single method then you will be able to make it more, I mean, if you're able to like congregate every other topic like continue and break and everything in a single method which are related on each other, so I mean I will appreciate that. So yeah, that's it for today. I have to go somewhere. I mean, I have to go to church, meet a friend. That's why I'm like recording this video, posting it on YouTube. So go through this. Thank you. See you next time.